Hello, I am Arun Malhotra and welcome to ETAuto Unplugged Season 3. In this program, we talk to industry leaders on their thoughts, their insights, their perspectives of the industry and what can they make the industry grow. If you look at the auto industry, it contributes 7% of country's GDP, and if you take manufacturing GDP, it is somewhere in the region of 45%. And if the Make in India or India becoming global has to succeed, manufacturing has to succeed. One area which we want to discuss today is the field of auto ancillaries, and I believe this field is tied to three basic things of the auto industry: the R&D, the supply chain, the production. So it is like the linchpin of the auto industry. And if you do not have a strong auto ancillary industry, you cannot become a global hub. That is very clear. Today we have a special guest. I mean, he's a person who is a very unique personality. He started his career at a very young age, below 20 years, say below 17 to 18 years. He's been in industry for about 45 years. He started his career in the market selling parts and in the sales which is there. And today, the organization which is formed, if I have to just talk of the organization without giving the name, it is running into 75 plants. It has units in 12 countries. It deals in 26 product groups. It caters to the entire industry segment from two-wheelers, three-wheelers, passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles, earth-moving equipment, all that. And if there is one indicator which is a measurable attribute, and that is the stock market or the investors, they give it a very big thumbs up, because in the last 5 years, the share price of this company has gone up 6 times. So you'll be guessing who's the individual. There can be one individual who fulfills all these criteria, and it is none other than Mr. Nirmal Minda.
Thank you very much, Arunji.
Nirmal ji, how should I address you? As Nirmal Minda? Because people know you as Nirmal ji.
No, Nirmal is okay.
Nirmal is okay. So Nirmal ji is okay. This is there. So Nirmal ji, take us through your journey at the early start of your career.
I would say that, I started very early, as you said, at the age of 17.
Achha.
It is almost 50 years now.
Oh.
So, and I was forced to join. I was forced to leave my study in between. And why forced? Because my father was not well.
Okay.
And he was separated by one partner in 1974. Okay. So when I joined, it was around 30 people and a turnover of 7 lakh rupees.
7 lakh rupees.
Per year. So 55,000 rupees per month. So, and I started, as you said, with a very, modest beginning in adversity, particularly in the aftermarket, from end to end, post to post.
Achha.
Each and every state, each and every city I visited, from south, north, east, making dealers, selling them parts, bringing money, running the company, giving them. So I started my career as a
young
marketing
age,
guy.
did they take you seriously? A young boy of 18, 20 going around talking to them.
So people used to take test. So one of the example, I was asked by a dealer in Madurai for 4 times in a day. From 12, I went to in the morning. The first appointment was 12, and then he gave me an appointment in the 12 in the night. So I visited 4 times. And then I was expecting an order of 50,000. So he gave me, this was not in the beginning, but middle of, I think, end of 70s, beginning of 80s. So he gave me an order of 150 lakhs at those days.
Oh my God.
1.5 lakh order diya.
Okay, then perseverance, tenacity, lage raho.
Patience and perseverance is my.
ये आज की जनरेशन थोड़ा सा कम है ये आजकल.
हमें सिखाना पड़ेगा, ड्यूटी हमारी बनती है. और continuous सिखाने का.
So this was your baptism by fire, मतलब learning from a tough phase. So you never sat on the gaddi straight.
नहीं.
गद्दी में बैठे नहीं मतलब.
नहीं. गद्दी तो पहले माल बेच के आते थे, फिर माल आकर के फैक्ट्री में बनाते थे. बनाने के लिए रॉ मटेरियल जाके खरीदते थे. साइकिल पे, मोटरसाइकिल पे, फिर लाके बनाते, फिर बेचते, फिर गाड़ी चलती थी.
ग्रेट. तो उस समय एक लाइसेंस परमिट कोटा राज था. 83 से पहले तो इंडस्ट्री देयर वाज नो, इंडस्ट्री का लिबरलाइजेशन भी नहीं हुआ था. बड़ी लिमिटेड कंपनीज होती थी, चाहे 2 व्हीलर में लो, चाहे 4 व्हीलर में हो, चाहे ट्रैक्टर में हो, चाहे कमर्शियल व्हीकल में हो. तो उस समय क्या सिनारियो था इंडस्ट्री का, क्योंकि आप उसके बाद मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में आ गए थे एंड यू स्टार्टेड डीलिंग विद कंपनीज. व्हाट वाज द सिनारियो यू विटनेस्ड दैट टाइम?
टफ था, मैंने बतलाया. आप जैसे हिंदुस्तान मोटर्स थे, प्रीमियर ऑटोमोबाइल थी, बजाज थे, बजाज फेयरली गुड थे वैल्यूज में, और पेमेंट लेने के लिए 3-3 महीने 6-6 महीने लगते थे।
अच्छा,
वहाँ पेमेंट के लिए 7-7 दिन बैठना पड़ता था। तो ये तो, और क्यों थी उनके पास, क्या नाम, गाड़ियाँ बनाने के लिए नहीं थी,
अच्छा,
डिमांड, वेटिंग लिस्ट थी, यू नो दैट। तो बायर्स मार्केट, ये कहते हैं उसको, टेक्नोलॉजी की इतनी नीड नहीं थी,
अच्छा,
मैन्युफैक्चरर्स बहुत कम थे, लोकलाइजेशन धीरे धीरे हो रहा था। तो जो डिफरेंट वर्ल्ड था, आज का वर्ल्ड और वो वाला वर्ल्ड टोटल डिफरेंट है।
एंड कमिंग फ्रॉम अ कंपनी विच वाज सेटिंग अप न्यू, आप तो नए आ रहे थे, कई लोग पुराने एस्टेब्लिश्ड होते, तो और भी चैलेंजिंग रहा होगा आपके लिए। तो
बहुत ज़्यादा चैलेंजिंग था शुरू में। तो जब टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी तो कंटेसा आया कुछ 80s के बिगिनिंग में, देन ये 84 में हीरो होंडा सो कॉल्ड एट दैट टाइम, नाउ हीरो मोटर्स, many few player started coming in 84 before liberalization of 91. जब वो आने, then when they started coming they were expecting more quality. So we had seen 4-5 phases, and particular phases of bringing the talent, upgrading the talent of our own and bringing it from the market, and bringing them in, inculcating in the culture.
तो इंडस्ट्री में 3-4 बड़े इन्फ्लेक्शन पॉइंट आए होंगे जहाँ पर इंडस्ट्री में चेंज आया होगा। तो पहला तो आपने अभी मेंशन किया है जो अर्ली 80s में जब जापानीज मैन्युफैक्चरर्स या एलसीवीज में आए, टू व्हीलर्स में आए और मारुति सुजुकी आई, एक तो ये इन्फ्लेक्शन पॉइंट था जिसमें आप कह रहे हैं कि आपको बड़ा फोकस क्वालिटी पे करना पड़ा। तो ये चेंज ईजी था उस समय?
नहीं, बहुत टफ था, कर भी नहीं पाए। वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू, देन वी वर लिटिल लेट ऑफ एंटरिंग into the so-called technical license and a joint venture.
अच्छा,
Maruti brought in 84-85 many joint venture and technical license.
84
we were late. So we were late, and then we found, because all were occupied, and Japanese people also don't want to come so easily unless and until some recommendation by the Maruti or other player. So we got our first license, technical license in 92. The company called Tokai Rika.
So that was 9 years after all these Japanese
came,
and Maruti
that was a
aaye
big
too.
turnaround for our group.
Achha.
And I myself, and then later on it was converted in 95 as a JV. So I myself was trained in Japan for 3 years. Mr. R.C. Bhargav, the then managing director. I was fortunate when I went to him to introduce our president. And Tokai Rika is a part of Toyota Group.
Achha.
So an affiliation. So then I was fortunate that he mentioned to our president कि साहब आप इंडियन के एंटरप्रेन्योर को ट्रेनिंग दीजिए जापान में।
अच्छा।
तो आई वाज फॉर्चुनेट, दे सेंड मी ट्रेनिंग ऑफ 5 days 7 days शेड्यूल फॉर द क्लासरूम ट्रेनिंग। आई सेड नो। सो मेरे लिए चैलेंज एक ये भी था कि आई वाज नॉट, आई डिडंट लर्न फ्रॉम द इंग्लिश मीडियम स्कूल, आई लर्न फ्रॉम द हिंदी मीडियम। सो इंग्लिश was my handicap. So when I went to, that is a before story. When I went to Tamil Nadu, so Tamil Nadu nobody speak English, Hindi, and I don't speak English. So when the customer used to say this, that, I only say used to yes and no. Then I went to Madras City Central, bought a Tamil book, Hindi to Tamil, and I learned Tamil in those days. Similarly, I learned Japanese.
Japanese और भी मुश्किल होगा?
Japanese also I learned. मुश्किल था, but फिर ऑल्टरनेट नहीं था ना, या तो मैं, उनको भी इंग्लिश नहीं आती थी जापानियों को। सो देन आई वाज ट्रेन्ड देयर फॉर 3 months माई सेल्फ, लर्न कानबान, काइजन, जापानीज मिड रेंज प्लानिंग।
अच्छा।
ऑल दैट आई लर्न देयर। आई सेड कि 5-7 दिन के मुझे क्लासरूम की ट्रेनिंग से कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा।
तो लोग सोचते हैं ना कि भाई इतना टॉप पे पहुंच गए, यू आर लकी, देयर नथिंग एक लक, देयर इज हार्ड वर्क।
लक इज आल्सो देयर, बट देयर इज नो सब्स्टिट्यूट फॉर हार्ड
वर्क। मुझे एक, सर जब आप अपने कहानी बता रहे थे, मुझे एक डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्री के आदमी की याद आ रही है, अमिताभ बच्चन की।
अच्छा।
वो 69 में इंडस्ट्री में आए थे।
अच्छा।
और 5 साल स्ट्रगल किया था।
अच्छा।
फिर उनकी जंजीर आई, फिर उनकी हिट हुई। तो आपने भी 5 साल स्ट्रगल किया है, लोगों की एंट्री पहले हो गई थी।
ज्यादा स्ट्रगल करके आए हम। बट हमें फॉर्चुनेट रहे, हमें अच्छे कोलैबोरेटर मिल गए, लर्निंग अच्छी मिली, अच्छे लोग मिल गए हमें। अच्छा। और अच्छी वैल्यूज के साथ हम उनके साथ आगे।
तो एक तो हुआ 83-84 का चेंज जब जापानीज आए, और उसके बाद जब लिबरलाइजेशन हुई जब इंडस्ट्री की 91-92 में, था उसमें क्या चेंजेस आए?
देखिए उसके अंदर में पहले हमको लिमिटेड कैपेसिटी बना सकते थे हम, लिमिटेड, हर चीज़ की लिमिटेड। इसके बाद में FDI आनी शुरू हुई। अच्छा। फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट के लिए गवर्नमेंट फ्री हुए, गवर्नमेंट ने डाला, तो हमारे पास में इक्विटी आई 95 में। अच्छा। इक्विटी आने से उनकी और इन्वॉल्वमेंट बढ़ गई। तो लाइसेंस राज और इसके अंदर में बड़ा चेंजेस है, एज वी ऑल नो कि मारुति के अंदर में फिर टीयर 1 टीयर 2 अच्छे डेवलप हुए, आना जाना आसान हो गया। कोई 500 रुपीज़ मिलते थे
अच्छा।
एक कोटा के डॉलर के,
अच्छा।
वो फिर इजी हो गए, ट्रेनिंग इजी हो गई, तो आई मीन ट्रैवल इजी हो गया। सो आई थिंक इंडस्ट्री वाज ग्रोइंग
और फिर उसके बाद जब
पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज हो गया इंडस्ट्री के बारे में।
तो टू व्हीलर्स कारों में तो एक कंपनी थी मारुति थी, बट टू व्हीलर्स में तो सब आ गए थे, जापानीज मोटरसाइकिल सारे आ गए थे, विच इज देयर।
पुराने बजाज और लम्ब्रेटा थे,
लिमरेटा थे, बट नए भी आ गए थे, नए आ गए थे। बट कार इंडस्ट्री में या पैसेंजर व्हीकल इंडस्ट्री में तो चेंज 97-98 में आया, तो उसमें भी मेजर एक चेंज आया आपके लिए लगता है कि?
नहीं देखिए, उसके बाद जो 91 के बाद टोयोटा आए, होंडा आए, हुंडई आए, मारुति पहले आ गई थी। मिस्टर सुजुकी ने रिस्क पहले लिया कंट्री में, और सामोजी ने। तो आने के बाद जब वो आए तो उन्होंने अपने वेंडर्स देखे। हम लोगों को एक एडवांटेज मिल गया कि हम ऑलरेडी मारुति के साथ थे।
अच्छा।
हिंदुस्तान मोटर और प्रीमियर मोटर का जो टेक्निकल जो सप्लायर थे, उसमें से कई तो मारुति ने रिजेक्ट कर दिए
ऑब्वियसली।
उनके 2-3 कारणों से। एक तो टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी, दूसरा एक माइंडसेट नहीं था टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्शन करने का, कि अगर टेक्नोलॉजी को अडॉप्शन करने का मैनेजमेंट माइंडसेट नहीं होगा, इट इज वेरी,
आई थिंक वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बात कही आपने। टेक्नोलॉजी इज वन पीस, पर माइंडसेट चेंज इज सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है। दुनिया के साथ आपको बदलना है।
हाँ, बदलना।
दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच यू
जमाने के हिसाब से नहीं बदले तो हम
तो देन यू विल बिकम रिडंडेंट, पीछे रह जाओगे, बिल्कुल पीछे रह जाएंगे
हर एक कोई किसी भी सेक्टर में, किसी भी।
तो ये मेजर चेंज एक और आया होगा जो मतलब आपके
फिर उनको हमको एडवांटेज मिला, हुंडई से मिला, टोयोटा से मिला। बाद में फिर महिंद्रा टाटा ने भी अपने आप को सारा चेंज करा मारुति के बाद, क्योंकि बट ये अच्छे थे, महिंद्रा एंड टाटा अपने आप को चेंज कर पाए।
So that is,
स्पीड से चेंज
so
कर
you have
पाए।
to change with times. You can't live on the past. You can't rest on your past laurels कि मैंने ये किया था, मैं उस समय ऐसा करता था। वो अतीत के गुण नहीं बाधा नहीं बजा सकते।
What brought us here will not take us there.
Absolutely right. What brought us here, which is there. अब now we come to the phase of the last 5-7 years. You know, पहले कुछ भी कहिए, एक IC इंजन था, क्लियर थी, एक टेक्नोलॉजी क्लियर थी। अब कोई दुनिया भर की चीज़ें सुनते हैं, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक, सॉफ्टवेयर, सेमीकंडक्टर, CNG, हाइब्रिड, इलेक्ट्रिक। तो ये दिस मस्ट बी अ मेजर चेंज। हाउ डू यू एडजस्ट टू अ चेंज लाइक दिस? हाउ डज इंडस्ट्री एडजस्ट टू अ चेंज लाइक दिस? और जिसमें फ्यूचर नहीं पता क्लियर कि आगे कल क्या होने वाला है।
देखिए, इसमें थोड़ी सी रिस्क लेनी पड़ेगी। हमारी कंट्री का जो नीड है अपनी कंट्री की, वो फॉसिल फ्यूल से अपने को इंडिपेंडेंट होना है, कम करना है। ये तो बेसिक नीड है अपनी कंट्री की। हमारा इंपोर्ट ही है सर, आपको मालूम। तो अब उसके लिए हमें मल्टीपल एरियाज के अंदर में, जैसे CNG आया, और CNG आया, पहले उसका ग्राफ ऐसे चलता रहा। अब आज मारुति 20%, 25% ऑफ द कार CNG पर चलेगी। तो गवर्नमेंट अगर कोई एनकरेज करती है कोई पॉलिसी के माध्यम से, इफ दे एनकरेज द इंडस्ट्री, तो इंडस्ट्री वुड लाइक टू डू ऑल द पॉसिबल एवेन्यूज। अब हमें देखने के लिए, आपका जो क्वेश्चन है कि हम कैसे एनवेजाइज करते हैं, अब CNG से पहले एक LPG था। हमने 2001 के अंदर में LPG बनाई मारुति की,
अच्छा,
वैगन आर। अच्छा, अब 3000 कार पर मंथ बनती थी, शायद उस टाइम आप मारुति में ही याद है। तो वो फेस था LPG का, आज 25 साल हो गए उसको। तो जमाने के हिसाब से टेक्नोलॉजी बदलेंगी, हमारी नीड है, और हर टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर में अपने आप को अडॉप्ट कर करके एडवांस में रखना है।
अच्छा, तो जैसे देखें कि व्हेन पीपल एंटर द इंडस्ट्री, एनी इंडस्ट्री दे में एंटर, तो यू कैन नॉट प्रेडिक्ट व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन इन द नेक्स्ट 5-7 ईयर्स। तो एज अ स्ट्रेटेजी, पहले एक विजन होगा, फिर स्ट्रेटेजी होगी, फिर एक्शन होगा, फिर उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन होगा। तो कैसे ये सेट करते हैं? हाउ डू यू डू क्रिस्टल गेजिंग? कैसे करते हैं आगे कंपनी की?
देखिए, दो
इंडस्ट्री के लिए, मतलब आपके लिए इंडस्ट्री के लिए कह रहा हूँ,
क्या करना चाहिए इंडस्ट्री के लिए। एक कस्टमर रोड मैप होता है। हर कस्टमर के पास नेक्स्ट 5 ईयर से 4 to 5 ईयर्स का रोड मैप है। हालांकि वो हर साल बदलता रहता है, जैसे आपने बताया, डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट के रेगुलेशन से वो रोड मैप बदलता रहता है। कुछ गवर्नमेंट के रेगुलेशंस होते हैं, गवर्नमेंट भी देखती है यूरोप और US में या अच्छी डेवलप्ड कंट्री के अंदर में क्या क्या रेगुलेशन चल रहे हैं। ये दोनों आपके पास इनपुट हो गए। कुछ टाइम फ्रेम होता है, उस टाइम फ्रेम को इफ यू अलाइन दैट एंड देन यू मैच, ओके, वेयर इज द what is your core, where you can play, where you can win, and where you have a technology backup. Do you have some technology backup, or are you going to make your own technology? What is the kit value is going to be there? So who are all the competitor? What is the benchmarking? Global competitor, Indian competitor. So where to play, how to play, and where how to
That's
win.
very important. The other thing which I'm seeing today is, see, there have been multinationals who have been present in the world for so many years. Some of them are doing well in India. But I'm seeing in the last few years the trend which is there. Indian homegrown entrepreneurs and in technology fields, they are growing at a faster pace. Iska kya reason hai? They have all the background, they have all the heritage, technology, unke R&D centers developed hain. Some are doing well, I'm not saying. But generally, if I take an average thing, Indian entrepreneurs who have come up in the top 20 men, they do very well. What is the reason for this?
We understand our ecosystem better.
Achha.
Whether it is a supply chain or government policy or interaction with the government, understanding the government. Second, we also understand the use case better. Suppose the Maruti car used to be made in Japan in the past. All the supplier were in Japan. All the technology approval were all in Japan. But now Maruti have started manufacturing car here.
And exporting.
And the speed and agility by the Japanese maker and Japanese car maker and Japanese, ours are much better.
Speed is big.
Speed and agility.
So you have to
decision making.
So you have to marry best of both the worlds.
Best of both. And the talent management, the cultural values. So all these are very, very important to integrate. And more and more, interaction with the customers, interaction with the supplier. So all the stakeholders, the Indian entrepreneur are able to understand much better than the foreign player.
Understanding of the local market. So understanding tabhi aayegi when you are in the market yourself.
Of course. You have to be at the, so Japanese management word is gamba. Unless and until you go to the shop floor, you don't blacken your hand by the computer sitting in the...
Nirmal ji, I hear a lot of people, CEOs जो बन जाते हैं, they say कि सर प्रॉब्लम क्या, हम तब तो ग्राउंड में थे, पर अब हम इतनी मीटिंग्स, इतनी कॉन्फ्रेंसेस, इतनी चीज़ों में फंसे रहते हैं कि हम ग्राउंड पे नहीं जा पाते. तो हाउ डू यू, व्हाट इज योर एडवाइस टू देम, हाउ टू गेट आउट ऑफ इट? दे से कि देयर सो मच अदर एजेंडाज कि वी कांट गो टू ग्राउंड.
So देखिए, this is a management, big topic we are talking. You have to manage your time. See, unless and until the top management goes to the gamba, I also personally have my own calendar, annual calendar, and I make it a point that I visit gamba every month, 3 to 4 days.
अच्छा.
Shop floor.
अच्छा, 3 to 4
For
days.
sure. And then there are multiple benefit. So whatever is shown to us in the boardroom, we can correlate actually the shop floor.
Touch of reality is there.
Reality. And reality, sometimes you go with the information, sometimes locally you can go without information. But if it's an outstation, it is difficult. So you know reality. Second is you get a people connect. You get the face reading of the people. Are the people happy? Because unless and until your employees, your workforce is not happy, I think you will not get an output. So normally this says people are the one who create the balance sheet, but they are not reflected in the balance sheet. Only some KMPs are reflected.
So they intangible assets है organization के, जो balance sheet में कहते
face
हैं.
reading से पता चलेगा.
Goodwill उनकी abilities.
How your managers are handling labor force, workforce. So the voice of people.
So अगर
Voice of customer is also gamba. Unless and until you do not visit in the, let's say in the tier 1. So unless and until you are not connected with all your stakeholders. So customer is the first and foremost. Second is your employee. Third is your investors. Fourth is your supplier. And then if you have your collaborator. Then nearby society. Society also plays, and there is also gamba. They also play a very important role to support.
So society is also part of the gamba.
Very part of the gamba. So very much important.
So you are talking of think global, act local. आपने happiness की बात की. I saw your designation has changed from 1st April. क्या designation है सर आपका?
मेरा बेबी मैंने executive chairman, mentor and happiness officer.
So mentor, that means you'll guide more people and
guide more people and ensure that people are happy. See, if the happy people goes home, the family is happy. Money is of course important. So mental and job satisfaction is the first more important thing the employee will get it in a workplace.
The other thing which one sees is, since Indian companies have to grow, so one is you form joint ventures with foreign companies. Other is you acquire a major stake in those companies. The 80-90% is like acquiring the company. And third is you buy plants outside. So one is understanding that system and growing, but there you have to understand which partner, how do you go about this? mergers, acquisition, technology collaborations, buying out. क्या thought क्या होता है इसमें? How does it work? Because this is not to Indian entrepreneurs, they develop themselves. This is not new to them. So how do you do that?
So again, as I said in the beginning, there is a customer roadmap, there is a government roadmap, regulation roadmap. What is coming in the future? That you align with the customers. If the customer is importing some parts today, and our country now local, not today, even from the last 30, 40 years, need localization. In this localization need, it is time to the market, it is easy to get a collaboration in a joint venture or a technical license. That is the first part of your question. In this technical collaboration and joint venture is also not easy to integrate. Integration with all the three is very difficult. You have to find a win-win situation and a trust with the collaborator. Unless and until that is there, our first collaboration, which I told you in 92, today is almost 33 years. We have, in our company, we have around 17 joint ventures, technical license.
And must be different countries even.
Different countries. So the first one is still continuing. And he has introduced to us, to many of the Japanese players, because of our repute, win-win and trust. So, and then they bring technologies, they bring quality culture. You again, as I said, contribute local management, industry practices, local use case, and the government interface, the manpower management, the policies. So unless and until both are working cohesively, a difficult issue. Second, you talk about acquisition. Again, acquisition is difficult for a cultural integration.
Very difficult.
Point of view. It is very difficult. There, they work, they start looking at their watch at 2 o'clock at Friday. In Germany, in our Germany office. So, हम लोगों को 24/7 है. And now they are talking about 4 days. So this is a cultural integration. There nobody takes a phone Saturday, Sunday. Here the customer, you have to be there for 24/7. So totally cultural difference.
So difficult हो
जाता है. But then they need to learn us, we need to learn them. I mean, tell them that what is in India.
Tell me, R&D we consider, because unless you do research and development, and I'm not talking about a particular company, but R&D still, the number of technology centers or R&D centers are generally abroad. We've not been as an industry able to develop that R&D what is required. I mean, it is come a long way, but still it is not to the level. What do you think has happened? What is the reason for it?
It used to be like that, you are right, but nowadays it is quite a lot changed.
That's a change.
We have done in our company, and not us, many of the industry players are doing, a lot of first in India.
First in India.
First in India.
Looking at Indian market, Indian needs, and doing
Indian market, Indian need lot of first.
So
I mean, to take, lot of first. Even in the EV, charging guns, even the wireless charger, many first. Even the smart systems, many of the first in the ADAS and all. So it requires a trust between the OEMs and the tier 1. So tier 1 has to, do some homework. They need to make a good product, good, a proof of concept, before proof of concept, and then the OEM need to collaborate for proof of concept before, allocating the model. So once the proof of concept is ready, then they can always decide upon the model. So if we follow the process perfect, I think we can. And you look at our Indian talents are in Tesla.
They are everywhere.
So when the Indian talent can work there, why not in India? So collaborative approach now, OEM, because what is the difference is, now each and every vehicles, now Mahindra and Tata, they have started designing vehicles.
They are designing vehicles.
You look at Born EV, now the built up EV, converted. What fast pace they have brought it. So coming back to this, all this vehicle design now started been done in India. So therefore the POC and collaboration is increased.
So thought by India, created by India, made for India, and made for the world and India.
Design in India.
So this change has happened.
Design in India.
Designed in India. That is a big
Otherwise
thing.
for us to
ये
take
कब से हुआ चेंज ये आपको अगर रिफ्लेक्शन
3-4 साल से होना शुरू हो
तो अब कुछ मतलब
5 साल से लगा
ये परसेप्शन हटाना है जनरल लोगों को परसेप्शन होता है कि हम अभी डिपेंडेंट है
नहीं बाहर वाले में तो अभी प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी अगर R&D सेंटर है बाहर तो उनको यहाँ पर लेके आना पड़ेगा आप यहाँ पर आके डिस्कशन करो
so that's an important point which is there. So now coming to educational institutions, one of the key things which you find in developed countries is the very close working between industria and academics. Where do we stand on that today?
I think this problem is continuing for the last many years. I think all of us, I was president of ECMA.
You were president of ECMA? So
I was president of ECMA.
you are still a thought leader of the industry. President is one post.
That time I can, personally go there and we opened a center in IIT Delhi, in fact, next in the same building, same complex. And but I think this is where we both of us need to work a lot.
So what we need to do?
What a gap is there. We need to understand each need. I mean, one is the cultural shift. Nobody want to come in the manufacturing sector, to be very honest. Young blood. There is a problem. Everybody want service sector, IT, all these areas. So we need to tell them that manufacturing sector is very, very important. And we need to promote people there. Tell them bring them to the industry more, maybe on the so-called training there. And lab, we need to set up a lab there. We need to set up our skilling center.
And your curriculum
there.
also should be there.
Curriculum also should be changed. We need to set up our so-called dojo, the manufacturing
dojo. वो चल रहा है, वो लखनऊ का चल रहा है, पहले आप, वो कैसे हाथ कैसे जुड़ेंगे, वो साथ कैसे आएंगे?
सब दोनों को मिलके करना पड़ेगा, टफ है ये, पर मिलके करना पड़ेगा और हो भी रहा है. देखिए, हम लोग भी अपने इंडस्ट्री में आकर के हम जो आते हैं, हम लोग पहले जो हमारे डीजेम्स होते हैं, हम सो कॉल्ड जो हमारे डिप्लोमाज या ग्रेजुएट इंजीनियर्स हैं, उनको पहले हम अपना 6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग देते हैं, शॉप फ्लोर पे देते हैं. So because unless and until they know the shop floor, they cannot go in the offices and then plan. क्या आप स्ट्रेटेजी करेंगे वो?
बिल्कुल ग्राउंड लेवल.
तो ये टैलेंट की नीड है. टैलेंट टेक्नोलॉजी डिस्ट्रप्शन हो रहा है. टेक्नोलॉजी डिस्ट्रप्शन में टैलेंट की बहुत ज़्यादा नीड है. अब पहले बोला आपने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक, सॉफ्टवेयर और सो कॉल्ड कार 30% तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक बन गई है, सॉफ्टवेयर बन गई है. जब तक इसका इंटीग्रेशन लोगों को समझ में नहीं आएगा कैसे हो रहा है, एवरीबॉडी इज लर्निंग.
Tell me, if somebody has worked for 20 years, I'm not talking of a CEO, but as an employee, and I've only worked on mechanical engineering, piston, correcting rod, crankshaft, आपके cast iron, steel, मतलब aluminium. अब ये एकदम software comes in, electronics comes in, semiconductors. So how does the adjustment take place?
बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है, हमारे लिए चैलेंज है, सभी के लिए है.
So how do we come to that? Because this is a major disruption. People don't see it outside, but inside there's a major disruption.
So called, again मैंने बोला, there are जो पुराने लोग हैं वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है. उनके पास कल्चर है, उनके पास वैल्यूज है, उनके पास सिस्टम्स हैं, इंडस्ट्रीज के नॉलेज है, वो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है. बट एट द सेम टाइम उनका माइंडसेट चेंज होना इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अडॉप्ट द टेक्नोलॉजी. सो दे नीड ए रिवर्स मेंटरिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू मी.
Reverse mentoring.
Reverse mentoring.
So young people have to mentor the older people.
People have to mentor the old people on the technologies. What are the kind
and
of...
older people have to be open in their mind.
Open mindset.
Listen to them.
Listen and understand. And they must give the test to the youngster. Why not? Why the youngsters have to...
But as a cultural India, we are able to do.
कई हो रहे हैं, जो नहीं होंगे वो रह जाएंगे फिर.
You have to change your time.
You have to change. Along with the time, as we said, if we don't change, you are gone.
You become redundant.
You will be redundant.
You become redundant. So that's something which is a lot of industry.
I had my reverse mentoring when I need to learn electronics. So I had my colleague as a...
And at a certain age you have to learn, which is there. It's easier to...
Last 2 years back.
Acha. So that's a mindset change. Mindset. So role of... Another thing in auto ancillary is a lot of people say, why do you have so many plants? There is a thing called economies of scale, big plant in one location, and when we hear this company has 30 plants, 50, 75, why need for so many plants? So this is a general question which a lot of people ask. Not people who are very inside the industry, but outside, what is this system? So many plants you required.
So there are some bulky items where you have a huge transport costs, like lighting, like alloy wheel. So this transport cost itself is more. So we need to be nearer to the customers as much as possible. Then we have multiple product, as you said in the beginning, we have 26 product line. So 26 product line multiply by different locations, and each customers, they want the nearer, our spoilers, our seating, they need, these are all bulky item. So bulky item, you have to be nearer to the plant as much as.
So you have to, and then customers also do various locations.
Multiple product, multiple customers. Multiple customers, multiple location, and
so the
huge.
So technology is different,
logistics
size
cost.
is different, plants are different, companies are different. Now come to the next question of skilling, and I am starting from, when you said reverse mentoring, I am starting from a low level. Tier 1, they will upgrade with technology, they will upgrade with skills, they will have joint ventures. What happens to the poor Tier 2, Tier 3 person? Who is looking after them?
This is a responsibility of Tier 1 only. Not only Tier 1, let me tell you, I am the director of a Maruti Center for Excellence.
Okay.
This Maruti Center for Excellence we created about 20 years ago. And we, in the Maruti Center of Excellence, there are about 45 people, and we are developing Tier 2 for the last 20 years. So working, mentoring Tier 2, cluster approach of the Tier 2, technology approach, curriculum change, forum management to the youngsters, forum, manpower. So all this development of the Tier 2, safety, nowadays ESG, environment, carbon footprint. So all these things, unless and until we tell them, they will not be uplifted. So it is a responsibility of Tier 1, but many OEMs are also involved. One of them is Maruti. They handhold the Tier 2.
So all the OEMs have to take ownership of that area, and also the Tier 1 have a responsibility, because the strength of the chain is the weakest link of the chain. If that chain is weak,
it is a whole ecosystem.
So you cannot do without
we cannot work. I mean, and it is not only them. We train them not to take out the money, because when the industry is growing, some of them, when they start making money, they take out the money.
This happens in every part of the business. Even dealerships, it happens.
Natural. We tell them that
reinvest.
Look, you need to invest more in your capex. You need to invest more on the technology. Unless and until you improve the technology, you will not be sustainable company, because technology is changing. There are new components. We give them the opportunity. We give them the exhibition of what is all Tier 2 parts are being imported, even now. Through ECMA, we make an exhibition that we invite all the supplier community, look at that, please challenge, raise the hand, what can you localize?
What about financing? Because a lot of upgradation requires also investments. And people say that Tier 1 or the big OEMs, they can get finance because there will be financial institutions, there will be public private sector banks, there will be PE funds, anybody will be there. But for them, they find it difficult to get finance.
I don't think, if the health of the company, as I told you, if the health of the company is good, if the intention is good, business, I think finance is not a...
Even for the Tier 2, Tier 3?
Even for the Tier 2. We also sometimes finance. As in Tier 1 also are ready to finance, because Tier 1 need them. Tier 1 also give guarantee for them to the bankers for the finance. But sometimes, as you said, if there are some siphoning of the fund happens, which is not a good thing, so then one has to be careful.
Good balance sheet, clear
very important,
and reinvesting in your business.
Financial prudence is very important.
And there is the role of the Tier 1 to do it. So is it some companies may do this hand holding, but is it becoming a structure or a system that this is the way we have to hand holding?
See, suppose we develop our one Tier 2. So that Tier 2 is not only for us. That Tier 2 is supplying, there's a cultural shift of that Tier 2 and is supplying to the many other Tier 1. So the ecosystem get developed. And then he also learn from the cluster approach, as I said. So when the 10 people sit together, they exchange. They visit one factory each time, rotate by rotation. So they learn and they know what is happening. And then they discuss about their problems, about their achievements, about their, challenges, opportunities.
When we develop new products and changing products have to change dramatically, even if the product doesn't change, the technology, whether in terms of fuel, whether in terms of regulation, there can be very dramatic changes. There used to be an approach that OEM will call the auto ancillary, this is what I want. One is that buy-bap syndrome. I'm not saying, I don't have a better word for it, but that's one thing. It is going, it's a good relationship, but it is a relationship between a father and son where father is directing a child. And the other is that you have collab. Has that trend changed in the country?
Very much, very much. Gone back those days when we used to give a quotation only on the drawing, RFQ, no. It is now RFI, request for information. First step. Before that request for information, you need to go to the OEM to show your technical competency. What new? What is your USP? What is that change from the past in terms of technology, in terms of user experience? Have you done any user experience in the field? What is the cost level from my previous product to the new product? So all that you need to explain. Then you are enrolled as an RFI. Then RFI, then you get some information, matter information. Once you pass that gate of RFI, then you get an RFQ. So get an RFQ, forget about the business, LOI. LOI is much later, letter of intent. Award of business is much later. Before the even getting an RFI, RFQ is not so easy for all the tier 1.
So, but
same thing is we are doing for tier 2.
But you also give inputs and advices to OEMs, which is there? Because
we give, whether our competitor gives, then they assimilate all the information, then they make their RFI kind of a thing.
So there is more cooperation and collaboration happening now.
Much deeper, much deeper.
It is not a directive or discourse now.
No.
वो directive discourse का ज़माना पूरा हो गया है.
बिल्कुल पूरा हो गया.
वो पूरा हो गया. और at least move काफी इस तरफ हो गया.
Otherwise competition को हम compete नहीं कर पाए ना global को. अभी तो global trend है. हमारी कार सारी export हो रही हैं. 2-wheeler सब export हो रहे हैं. तो कहाँ से हम ग्लोबल पहुंचेंगे?
एक्सपोर्ट की बात हुई, 2-wheelers we are doing well in exports, but somehow passenger vehicles we do export 65,000 vehicles, but for a country which has been 40 years in this technology field now from 83 time which you talked of, the exports still are small. What needs to be done now? Where is the challenge?
अब देखिए बढ़ रहा है. पहली बात तो बढ़ रहा है. मारुति का देखिए आप, there is a highest import.
मैं इंडस्ट्री की बात कर रहा हूँ.
जो मैं बता रहा हूँ, तो आज मारुति ने किया, कल और भी करेंगे. आगे धीरे-धीरे आ रहा है. So बढ़ेगा. अब करना क्या है इसमें? एक तो सबसे पहले लोकलाइजेशन है. स्टिल अवर इंपोर्ट इज ह्यूज. सो आत्मनिर्भर के लिए जो गवर्नमेंट के इनिशिएटिव्स हैं उनको थोड़ा और बढ़ा करके हमें थोड़ा सा लोकलाइजेशन करना पड़ेगा. उससे बड़ी कॉस्ट एफिशिएंसी आएगी. एक थोड़ा सा क्वालिटी की सस्टेनेबिलिटी भी अभी हमारे कंसर्न है थोड़े से. तो वो इम्प्रूव हो रही हैं, मैंने पहले से बताया. तो होगा, एक्सपोर्ट भी बढ़ेगा.
One word which we keep hearing for the last 4 years after the COVID is the China plus one strategy. Now, one is that I bring China comes down, people close embargo, and then people will come to India. Other is I raise my standard. So where are we today in this China plus one? Or is this word wrong? China plus one?
No. China plus one. Everybody want to do because of everybody want to do de-risking but it is. Let me tell you, it is not so easy, but it is possible. It is challenging, but it is possible. Again, we have to collaborate in the beginning, particularly in the EV segment. I am talking about automotive. The industry have to collaborate with China because China have gone ahead. They produce 12 million now EV out of their total production of 30 million.
So 40% of this.
40% of the vehicles are EV. So they have, you must have recently read it. They have overcrossed General Motor, Volkswagen, even Tesla. सबको ऊपर ले गए.
So
we are far behind.
We have to learn from them.
So we have to learn from them, collaborate them, and then develop our own technology, R&D, localization, and then we have a talent. We have a talent, and we need to nurture talent as we discussed.
Is it something like where Japan was after Second World War? It was low quality nowhere, and where Japan came. Korea was also low. Korea came. So that's some learning for us.
So our talent, our mindset change, our talent development, our focus on the manufacturing segment, industry, and academia partnership, government support, maybe all these things, government initiatives. And
now the question comes to, if you go to good engineering colleges, or the top management institutions, people don't want to get into manufacturing. They want to get into investment banking, consultancy, data, this thing. How do you attract talent there? Or you don't need talent, or we'll develop our own talent?
No. It is not possible at all. You have to have a succession. You have to have all that, pipeline, talent pipeline. So, there are different categories of the people, I would say, in each colleges also. Maybe we don't get the top notch, maybe the middle notch, or
but
maybe
that's
the
good
middle notch. And then we have to nurture and develop on our own values, culture, system, dojos. Dojos is a Japanese word of a training center. We need to, each department have to have their own training center, whether it is an engineering, R&D, manufacturing, shop floor. Every department head has to take an ownership to develop a human being who is working, whether it is a white collar or a blue collar.
So one is skilling, which you said clearly, is that every company has to take ownership of their employees. They have to develop them, they have to, whether it is softer skills or whether it's technical skills. But is there a need for skilling irrespective of technology, irrespective of company together from industry perspective? Or is that happening, or is it required, or what needs to be done for this?
So I think, again, it is happening. Bajaj have opened some technical center in Bangalore recently for this one. As I again said that, ECMA is doing it. ASDC,
Acha.
Automotive Skill Development Center, they are also doing on the various center. But the approach is getting modified
Acha.
and getting better aligned to the industry requirement. So that is there are some gap of industry requirement, but I think individually each company is different, product is different, so skilling requires are different. One is the general management. Let's say you can say the SAP knowledge, or you can say the defect analysis or the deep analysis. All these are a generic trait, generic skill. But other than generic skill, you need to have a different product-wise skill.
So, Nirmalji, I'm coming to the last section of it.
Please.
This is slightly, you can answer that question. If you don't want to answer the question, you are free to not to answer that question.
Please.
So, we take 3 buckets: OEMs, auto ancillary, and government. Now, we'll come to OEMs, and we'll take in 3 buckets, each of them. What OEMs are not doing, but they should start doing, and what are new things they should do?
So, as far as the OEM, as I mentioned before, many of them have started doing POC.
Okay.
So, they must encourage the auto ancillary supplier to do POC. May not be right in the beginning, but if they encourage, they must encourage the startups to do POC and develop their own technology. You know, our own self-technology, like China have done over a period of time.
And anything new which we are not doing at all, we should do. Because you work globally, you talk to so many manufacturers. These are things we don't do in India, we should do it.
In the OEM?
In the OEMs, I'm talking OEMs.
So OEM, I'm telling you, the first and foremost is to collaborative approach with the component maker. And second, the OEM definitely need competitor, 1, 2, 3 for each category. But sometimes, there are more. So when there are more, then the economic of scale goes down. You generate capacity.
So too much is bad also.
So the OEM should ensure that whatever the capacity is generated, they must utilize that capacity, provided the component manufacturer give them QCDD, quality, cost, competitiveness, development and delivery, right time, on time, first time right, on time right. On the base of QCDD, not only on the cost, they should not, do, how do you say, unfair competition sometimes. That is number 2.
Very good. You franked up to answer that.
Franked up the answer. Fair, not for us, for everyone.
We are talking from the industry perspective.
And ancillary, they have already invested based on your request, based on the OEM request. But if they are not performing, yes, you can discard them.
Now coming to auto ancillary, because which you represent, and I'm not talking of Mr. Nirmal Minda, or I'm talking you as an industry thought leader, because you moved to that level, which is there. I mean, you talk of the industry, which is there. What are things which auto ancillaries, which probably they're not doing all that well, they should do better?
I think overall revamping is required because of the technology disruption change. The customer requirement is not that as it used to be before, as you said, in the early age. They need first time right, on time right, and always right quality. Cost. They need innovation. So all the component makers should ensure that from the design, they must spend on the R&D, invest in the R&D.
Only is R&D.
First and foremost in the R&D, so that they can give the solution to the OEM. OEM will not do the POC just like that, unless and until they give some solution. System supplier. So they have to have a future thinking. What shall I do next? How will I retain in my business? So they must do the benchmark with the foreign competitor.
Benchmarking is very important.
Very, very important.
Because you can't just live in your own world.
Because I'm going to be, unless until I'm part of the global quality, global R&D, it is gone. Because global players are coming here. They will set up a shop. They are setting up a shop. So they will become a supplier. So R&D, innovation. Then second is the manufacturing process. So, manufacturing process, training, and they must spend time more on the human development. So human development is the key in all the area, whether it is R&D, manufacturing, quality, delivery, supply chain, supplier development. There's we call so-called SQA, supplier quality assurance. So all this ecosystem, the tier 1, along with taking tier 2, as we discussed a while ago, they must work on that.
So when we come to the government now, there are 2 points which people raise. They say that government's intentions are very honorable. Their policies are good. They are listening. They are intelligent bureaucrats, ministers are listening, and it's a lot of collaboration happening. But if I have to play the devil's advocate or people who would the other voice, they say ki too much regulation is being pushed too fast, which is impacting the bottom of the pyramid. What is your view to that?
No, that is true. That is the opportunity also, but at the same time, trouble also, short time as you said, and cost is also increasing. So we have to balance. But I think on the government side, I think we can have better collaborative approach with the industry, more collaborative.
So when policies are made or conceptualized, they have to involve you at the first stage.
First stage. And there can be one more thing, in the other countries, you must have seen kind of, I would say Japan, there is a industry called, there is a ministry called METI. METI is the Ministry of Automobile, Trade and all that. So they know the ecosystem. There are experienced, people in that industry of the automotive. But here in India, we have 5 or 6, 7
industry bodies, which 5 or 6 government departments. So sometimes
it, to convince one to take other time, and it takes
symphony is required.
How to say simplification, or I don't know the word.
Single phase interface.
Single phase interference or simplification, some kind of agility and speed.
जैसे आप बैंक्स में कहते हैं you deal with only one person. You don't deal with पहले you used to do a teller and this thing. So single point interface which is there.
That is there. But intentions of government is good.
Intentions are very honorable, which is that
from the industry side also, whatever the government policies they are bringing, whether it is FAME 2, FAME 1, FAME 2, PLI, we should not take any misappropriation and disadvantage of those policies. We should be genuine and honest.
So one is good, you're absolutely saying, because one bad fish can spoil the entire pond and then everything comes to a standstill.
Then they also start looking each other.
Everything will be looked at with a part of eye. But how can policies, see sometimes policies are good, but how do policies make it very simple, transparent, logical? Because sometimes from policy to action to ground takes time. What is your view on this?
More and more interaction, more and more communication is required. I think government, to me, it is very positive. I was there day before yesterday with Honorable Commerce Minister. They posted. So, and this matter was being raised there also. Very positive, I would say. Very positive. Whatever we discuss, he immediately took a call.
Because he knows you understand and you have the right intentions for
that intention is perfect. I'm telling. So more and more communication, more and more information is required. We need to tell our association, need to tell our pain area more openly, and I think they will speed up.
So you have had such a long innings, and the best part what you've done is you have changed with time. I mean, when I talk to you, it doesn't appear that I'm talking to a person who was the 70s. You're not stuck to 70s, you moved ahead of that, which is there. So what is your advice to, or I would say advice is the wrong word, what is your message to young entrepreneurs and young managers? What they should do?
So I think first and foremost, positivity. Learn and unlearn. Young don't need to do unlearn. Middle, as you said, unlearn and learn. For the middle, So unlearn and learn. Positivity, passion. That is very, very important. Positive means no negative thoughts. And continue upgrade yourself and go ahead.
Go ahead. So positivity, passion, upgrade yourself.
Upgrade yourself.
And sheer commitment, which you saw, tenacity, which you said, was an attribute. Which
perseverance and patience.
Which is there. Good. And what about for startups? Because startups are also there, but sometimes they are lost.
So startup need to be aligned with the industry like us or with the OEMs. They sometimes use case. It has to be a collaborative approach.
Because the language they use is very different from the industry uses.
So that because they don't understand the use case. So they have a very good ideas. But unless and until those ideas are practically implemented with the industry, with the OEMs or tier 1, we are also working with startups. Maruti and other OEMs are also working with many startups. So I think they will also grow along with time.
So the idea is to startups have to be part of the system. They need to understand, and companies also need to work closely with startups.
Ecosystem, part of the ecosystem.
Make them the part. They are not come from a different planet.
They can design, they can have an idea, but to implement the idea into the gamba and a sustainable product.
So Nirmalji, we are doing some future crystal gazing. Suppose we sit on the same discussion in 2035. What would you think Indian industry should be at that point of time? What is your vision or what is your wish list? Which is practical and you think it's possible?
I think we are now sometimes we say 3, in the automotive. Sometimes we say 4, fluctuating.
Yeah,
between.
because looking exports or non-exports which you count.
So, but I think we should be at least number 2. That's my clear vision. By 35, we will be. I mean, China, I think 30 million, we are 4 million. So big gap, quite a big gap. So, but I would say we should be very clear too in the automotive segment and the two-wheeler segment.
And two-wheeler, we are already on
Two-wheeler,
global scale.
commercial,
Two-wheelers
yes.
are tractors which are on
Two-wheelers,
global.
we are already
So,
almost there.
so you think the future is bright?
परफेक्टली
Perfect.
रोटी कपड़ा मकान पहले नीड होती थी, अब वाहन नीड है. हमारा इकोसिस्टम जो है अभी पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट का इतना कंड्यूसिव नहीं है, हो रहा है, वो भी जरूरी है जनरल पब्लिक के लिए.
तो मनोज कुमार ने 74 में मूवी बनाई थी रोटी कपड़ा मकान. तो निर्मल मिंडा जी 2025 बनाएंगे रोटी कपड़ा मकान और वाहन. So that's a interesting thought to leave the discussion. So pleasure talking to Nirmal ji. Thank you very much. Thank you.